But I understand how bad it is here. That's what you got to know. They may be focusing elsewhere, but Mississippi is on my mind. We'll come up with the cost of helping you rebuild. I'm not one of these guys who make all these wild promises that we can't come through, but I can assure you that this is big, and people are thinking big. We're going to think outside the box to help rebuild from this storm. You've shown tremendous character here on the front lines of dealing with this storm. You showed courage. People risked their lives to save their fellow man. You know, it's easy for me to say that I can see a better tomorrow, because I haven't been living what you've been living through. But I do. That's what you got to know. That out of the darkness will come some light. Out of this despair is going to come a vibrant coast. I just want you to know that when I'm thinking about how we can help this part of the world, Mississippi is on my mind.
Well, when Katrina hit, I was in my house in Bay St. Louis. Well, I could say the expected and the unexpected happened. The expected was the high winds, and the house I was staying in was built to last through it. But around 10 o'clock, I saw water come in the house, and we thought that our above ground pool just like damaged and flooded out. But as it turned out, storm surge made the water go through our house. We had about 4 feet of water into the house. When we saw the water come in, the first thing I did was grab towels and try to like dry up the floors, but we were just wasting our time doing that. But later we then realized that this water is getting bigger, so we better get up to the attic. So my family and I had to stay in the attic for about 5-10 minutes tops. But my dad, we got back down. My dad was keeping an eye on a spot on the car that was parked in the garage where the water was rising. And when he saw the water go back down, so did we. We headed back down in the house. About 4 feet down, everything was soaked and the water wasn't quite clean. Well, actually, let's see. The water gave us enough time to put our valuables on top of the on some high shelves and desks and whatnot. Okay. But we were fortunate that we had time to do all that. Well, my first thought after coming down to the attic was, thank God we're alive. That was about it. Well, from the time the surge came in, we waited about 3 or 4 hours for the storm to subside. We spent the night after back in our house. There was still some mattresses and stuff sleepable on. Well, the next day when I walked outside, and the sky was completely clear and it was kind of warm. We kind of went ahead and started taking some stuff out and cleaning some stuff up. We left 3 days after the storm hit. My family and I were quite aware of the destruction. While leaving town, I felt really unstable, but I mean, not physically unstable, but just afraid and shook up. As of right now, my family has a FEMA trailer and a handicapped one for my mom because she's disabled. And as of right now, we made some living space in our house. We would clean it up a bit. Had a group from out of town like gut our house and throw out all the trash, do a mud out. I feel like now that when I come home on the weekends, or when I go home on the weekends, that the community's is looking a lot better, and a lot of people are just cleaning up and making a lot of progress. I feel like I feel somewhat changed that after the storm, that the storm taught me how to be strong in times like these.
I was in my home with probably about 20 other relatives. They all came to stay with us because my father built a home that was built to withstand a hurricane. He was a contractor before he passed away, and so people always came to our house for the hurricane. So we all stayed there. We all got ready and stayed at my house, probably about 1.5 miles away from the beach. Well, it started with the copper roof and the second story of the house. It began to roll off, and so the whole upstairs started to leak and flood. And we all were freaking out about that, putting bowls everywhere, but what we didn't know is that the water was going to come up. And as soon as the eye, I guess, was passing over, we looked outside because the winds weren't as strong, and we saw the water, and it was getting close. We were like, was the water there just before? And then all of a sudden it came in. We started putting towels down thinking it was going to come in, and started pushing everything like underneath the house, and it gushed up to about 5 foot. We were just in shock, trying to pick things up, throw the kids upstairs, and when it got to about 4.5 foot, we just were rushing in shock, just trying to pick up whatever we could, but it all ended up getting ruined anyway. It really was about a 30-minute to maybe about 40-minute period by the time it came all the way up. And as soon as it came up, it all started to go back down. And there was probably about 2 inches of water that we had to actually like push out of the house and sweep out of the house, but it was really a quick amount of time, but I don't know if it's because we were in shock. The whole time we were picking up things, trying to save them, bringing it upstairs, but it really wasn't that long at all. The whole upstairs roof, we just now finally got to gut our house, and the whole upstairs roof has been taken out, and the house has been gutted to about 5 to 6 foot downstairs. But it's, I don't know, devastating. My mom's without, she was in at-home daycare, like she had her own daycare at our house, so she's without work. She's been staying in El Paso, but she can't. We realized that we couldn't sell the house to one of my relatives, so now we're having to come back in and try to figure out what we're going to do. So it's, I don't know, it's kind of up in the air as to what we're going to do. If we're going to sell or try to rebuild. It's just a lot of damage. It was actually crazy because right when we had gone outside, I mean, we had probably about 30, 40 pine trees in my backyard. Every single one of them were snapped, and we had about 3 huge ones that had snapped. So everything looked like a bomb went off, kind of, like the sky was crazy color. And we went outside, and the water was still kind of everywhere, and power lines were down everywhere, so we were scared to walk. But I had actually saw someone that I knew walking from the highway, saying that he just got off the roof with his parents, and he was walking to see if his house was okay because they stayed at his parents' shop. So it's kind of crazy that I saw someone that I knew, and he said he looked petrified. Like he said that he held onto the roof, and they were holding on until the storm was over. And after the storm, it was crazy because my sister is a manager at the Super Walmart, and she had ran into the policemen and the firefighters. They hung on to a tree. There were 12 policemen hanging onto a tree, and she got into Walmart, and they got in there before anyone and was able to get socks out and things for the policemen, because everyone, it was weird. There was no help for the first 4 or 5 days. Everyone was just walking around helping each other before any aid actually was able to come get in there and help. Well, I'm right off of Highway 90, and then my road comes off of it, and then for 1.5 miles, like there's a railroad track, and then over the railroad tracks is the beach, kind of. So It's weird. I don't know if our water came from over the railroad tracks or if it came from all the rivers that pushed through. That's what we really don't know, was where the water actually came in. We knew that it came in through the back door coming this way and then out the front door. My father always said it won't come over the railroad tracks. It never came over in Camille. The water never ever came over the railroad tracks. So we thought we were safe. And then when we found out, when I walked down, I saw my friend's mom, and she lives right, here's the railroad tracks, and her house is right there past it, and her whole back wall was pushed in. So they think it came over, I mean, the whole railroad tracks where theirs was totally broken to where the whole back side of her house was wiped out. So we definitely know that it did come over the railroad tracks, but I mean, that's what flooded most of the streets. I think that we got some of our water from the beach, but most of it from all the rivers that pushed through. It was probably the second day afterwards. The whole time, like the first night, we were lucky that my sister's house didn't flood or anything. So probably about 20 of us got to stay there. And then the next day we went back to the house, started cleaning everything up. It was weird. We were kind of just running around in circles doing little things just because you're kind of in shock. And we just finally took a break and said, you know, let's take a ride, because one of the cars survived. We had 11 cars in our driveway flood, and my sister's car survived. And so we went riding down, and it was the first place we went was to the Bay Bridge, and it was not there at all. And it was just, I mean, it was unexplainable feelings. Like, we were scared, but there was no way to get in contact with anyone. No phones worked at all. So someone was walking around with a satellite phone, and we were able to get in touch with one relative, because, you know, they all thought we were dead. I had one sister that drove all the way from St. Louis to come find us. She thought she was going to come bury us. She was scared to death. She brought like thousands of dollars worth of supplies and pulled up. She drove all the way from St. Louis to see, because there was no way to get in contact with anyone. It was scary. It was just unreal, very surreal. But I don't know, just to see, I've lived there my whole entire life. To have lived in that house, nowhere else, and just to see everything of my childhood, every place, every memory, it's just not there. You go to the beach, all the beautiful homes they're like this high. There's nothing left, nothing. And day by day they'll open up a business, and it's like the town excitement. Oh, Sonic opened. Right when Sonic opened, it's still busy every single day. Now Wendy's is open. Oh yay, Wendy's is open. It's just the big town thing. But most of the places are still gutted. People are trying to get in there, but it's hard to, there's always rumors, oh, Target's going to rebuild here, but you think things are getting better and better, and then there's something that'll bring you back down. But I mean, we do work together. That was one thing that our town did. There was always someone riding by, do you need ice, do you need this? But I don't know, right now everyone's just kind of up in the air. They don't know if they're going to sell, they're going to rebuild. Most of my friends lost their homes, most of them, 95% of them lost their homes. And their parents are all living in FEMA trailers right now, so it's just hard. At first, and I had to say the first day that we came back to school after the hurricane, we were all just very lucky to be able to have a dorm room to go to. And I remember there was probably about 5 of the girls that I grew up with at Bay High, where I went to school, and we just sat in our room and we bawled with anger for all the things that happened. And then we went to a point where we just started saying, oh, we got our trailer in, we have somewhere to stay. And I really can't express the feelings, because one day I feel that, you know, things are getting better, getting back to normal, and then another day my mom will call me with depression. And what made me feel the worst was actually for the parents that, you know, built their whole lives to raise a family and have a home, and then it all got destroyed, and where the insurance companies wouldn't help. So constant anger with the insurance companies and with FEMA. I think that's what I was mainly upset about. But at the same time, I'm upset now because I have to go and stay in Hattiesburg. I stay with a friend, because to stay at home, I have to go from sister's house to sister's house. I don't really have a home to go to, so I don't feel like it's my home anymore right now. And that's, I think, the thing it really upsets me to the point where, I don't know, it's unexplainable, really. Something that I would have never thought I would have to deal with ever in my life. But I will never, ever stay for a hurricane, ever. I mean, I've stayed through 3 or 4 in my house, but never again. It's terrifying. I was so overly confident before the storm came because my father always said that he built it. I mean, it's built out of cinder blocks, steel cinder block. There's steel rod going through with cement blocks and cement poured in and then brick around it. So there's no really insulation. So I was so confident in my house, and whenever I felt the roof come off is whenever it hit me that we may be in some big trouble. And it was really scary to have, you know, my nieces and nephews there. I mean, just babies running around that we had to make sure we're safe. And yeah, there was a point where, but I didn't really have much time to think. I just knew that I was there with my family. I didn't want to separate with them. I knew, in the back of my mind, I knew everything was going to be okay, but at the same time, it was very, very scary. I think there was one point when I looked at my mom, whenever she saw the whole house the whole downstairs pretty much underwater, and saw all of her things that she had worked so hard for. She had worked a single mother her whole entire, since my father passed away when I was 12. And I think seeing her face let me know that, you know, she really was, my mom had a real hard time after the storm, and so were several hundred, many others did, but I think that's the thing that scared me the most. She's always the one that's very brave, very, oh, it's going to be fine, you know, but whenever I saw something in her face that she was scared, that's when I got scared. That's when I knew that it was going to be very scary and that nothing was going to be the same anymore. There was a girl that I went to high school with, and we found out that she didn't stay with her family, but we found out that her mother, her brother, her father, and I think an uncle both drowned in the storm. And that's someone that I grew up with through high school. And it was scary because there were so many rumors going on after the storm of this person didn't make it. You know, it took months for us to actually realize who passed away and who didn't, because there was a huge rumor that a guy that I went to high school with passed away, but he was in another state. So, but that was one family that really kind of went back to home. That, I mean, she lost everyone. You know, she's raising a baby by herself, and her whole family's gone. I've just realized that it made me grow up. It made me not be so dependent on my mother, because she was so dependent on some of us to help her through this time. And this storm has definitely changed my life in so many ways, and has made me view situations as an adult approach instead of a child. You know, with my first year of college, which made it so much harder that I had to rely on the school funds to help me, you know. And it just made me a better person, and made me realize you can't take things for granted, and that something can come in and wipe your whole world away in an hour, in 4 or 5 hours. So it's just basically made me realize how blessed I am to have some of the things that I have and not take anything for granted.
During the storm, I went to Arkansas, and then I flew to Houston with my family. My family, they went a completely opposite way that I went, because they were supposed to meet me in Arkansas, and then they just decided to go, I want to say it's east towards Florida, and so then we couldn't get in touch with each other at all until I actually got to Arkansas. I was leaving school, and we were supposed to meet up in Little Rock, and then once I left, I couldn't get in touch with them until they were completely opposite direction. So, and after that, you couldn't really get in touch with anybody because the cell phone didn't have a home to go back to, which was what happened pretty much. I live in Diamond Head, and I have an apartment up here that I also lost because a tree fell on top of it. So, and the closest water was like 7 miles away, and it still flooded out completely. 7 miles from the water, and it was still up to the ceiling. And it moved, found the fridge in a bedroom, which was probably 3 rooms away. And then I had a tree go on top of my room, so it was insulation everywhere, and it wasn't really anything to save. Luckily I had a lot of pictures that were in the attic, and I still had mold on them, but I still had them. So as we were going through a move, they were moving back to New Orleans, and they had most of their stuff out, and I was staying there during the weekend so I could work with my friends and everything. Kind of an extra house at the time, but it still had all my stuff in there. New Orleans not as bad as everybody thinks. It's like Chalmette, New Orleans East is where it really got messed up. they got word that the house was damaged because our neighbor stayed and they had to go into the attic. And they stayed up there. They said they were up there for about half the day, if not a little bit longer. Didn't have anything. I mean, you're just kind of in shock, not really. You don't really know what to think when you see everything just gone. And you gotta figure, like, I was living not with my family, so they had their house in New Orleans, which they had all their belongings, were all right. But it was basically, I lost everything. I lost all my furniture, anything that I had, just lost it because of the apartment over here and the stuff I had Diamond Head. All my clothes, all my furniture, everything was just molded and just messed up. Can't really save anything. Came back as soon as we came. The attitudes of everybody just like completely changed, because you normally going through a small town like this, everybody waving at each other, and then you come through and there's all these people from everywhere else, and you have the attitudes of them. The white apartments on Highway 11, they just had roof damage and the guy fixed them up. But I was staying in the top one, and we had 4 of my friends staying there at the time, and we had 4 of us staying in a 2-bedroom. So it's just, I don't know, man. People are more stressed out, they don't help you as much. So, all I think of, except I hope nobody else has to go through this again. That's it.
We were back about a week, and we were staying in Ocean Springs with a cousin of mine that our whole family had came over to help with picking up everything, cleaning, and we stayed there. And then I heard school was starting back up, so then I packed all my stuff the Sunday before school started, and I came back up here. First time we went to the beach was right after we got back. Actually, I think the day after we got back, we went down to the beach because my grandpa lives down there. He lived on the beach in Waveland. So we went down there to check all that out, and everything was gone. Slabs and everybody's crap just everywhere. It felt bad, to know that he lost his house like that, because ours was okay. It just needed to be gutted and redone, but his is gone. He's got to start over. And the insurance company screwed him over because he upgraded his insurance company a few months before that, but they didn't upgrade the flood insurance. They just did the homeowner's insurance instead of both. So he's only getting like 80 grand for his house, which is what he paid when he bought it like 12 years ago. So it's really worth like 160 now. So he got screwed over that one. Nobody died. Everybody was okay, but a lot of them moved. So, and a lot of them I still haven't seen yet. It's really not like going back home because you got everybody trying to clean up and everything's destroyed and people rebuilding everywhere. It's crazy. It's still good to get away from school every once in a while to go visit home and see my mom and everything. So, well, when stuff like this happens, it really makes you like try not to take certain things for granted that you did before when you had it. So it makes you think a little bit more about what you're doing with your life and everything.